What's up, team? Welcome to the huddle. We're your weekly playbook where we not only strategize on playing the game, but changing it. From mastering the fundamentals of the craft to distinguishing ourselves in the marketplace, we're here to ensure the installers is equipped with everything you need. Let's band together and forge a new legacy in flooring. This is where you belong. Welcome to the team. What's up, guys?
How's it going?
It's good. I always expect um, Jose to say something, right on the backside of that, like, oh, there he
Oh,
goes.
or just leave. That too.
There goes my cheerleader. All right. Well, welcome everybody to this week's episode of The Huddle and our second episode of the Blue Collar Cruise. Blue Collar Cruise, where we get on, construction oriented media, find interesting topics and discuss them with you guys, and love to hear the comments and see the chat go crazy on some of these things. But
Oops.
as as we are getting going, what's up? There's Jose. He's back, looking
Man, got the
fly as
boot.
ever. So on this week's Blue Collar Cruise, we got a couple topics about sustainability. Some of you guys may have had a Packcraft rep come by and show you their new products, which is pretty cool if you are familiar with it. Talking about expansion, we hear all this bad stuff in the media every week. And, here on the Blue Collar Cruise, we hope to bring you a little bit of sunshine in the construction world and bring up, the fact that manufacturing, construction is going through the roof. Sharing a cool map with you that kind of shows how manufacturing construction is going up, and that goes further than just manufacturing facility. Uh, Daniel, you guys do a job. Maybe it's just a warehouse, but there's always an office space and supporting subcontractors like here in Wichita. If Spirit grows or Boeing grows, what's up, Jesus? Um, well, then so does a lot of the manufacturers and suppliers to them, which just has a cascading effect in any given area. You guys, um, you know what that's like. I mean, it's not just because manufacturing's booming. What that creates is what is kind of exciting.
Yeah, with every other business that's going up, and like you said, a warehouse. They also have a front end that has to run that business, and the front end. Most of the front end parts of those types of businesses need to be comfortable in an office.
Yep. And then there's a cool bridge that we found a time lapse video of, which is kind of cool how they've built this thing. We'll kind of share that. So, getting started with the first topic, and this is a sustainability topic, and the question that is posed is, can sustainability professionals help contractors save energy? So first off, we've heard this green, recycled content. We had a episode about recycling products and such. I don't know, when was that, Daniel? Like 6 months ago, probably.
Yeah.
And this is just talking about how the awareness is still increasing, and that nearly 60% of companies are striving to adopt some type of greener practices, uh, whether that's embracing sustainability in their manufacturing or using eco-friendly materials and designs. You know, one of the probably monkeys on contractors or construction industries back is when we used to demo stuff. You demo a building and almost all the material just end up in a landfill. Today we're recycling concrete. We're recycling. There's people even recycling the wood and recycling metal studs, and and all of that. And flooring is not, uh, you know, void of this subject. One example of this in flooring is Pat Craft's newly released resilient flooring product. It's pretty much a completely PVC free product called Rematerial. It's full of recyclable, resilient. And the cool thing is they put the image on. Have you guys seen this?
I have not.
So they came in and presented to us about a week ago, and they put the image directly on the backing. So you don't have a backing, a film, image film, and then a wear layer. You just have
Huh.
the image printed on the product, and then their scratch resistant coating put over the top of that. So it's really minimalist in design. It looks the same. It's got more of a satin finish, and it's really cool. It is 100% recyclable and made from polyethylene or polyolefin, materials, and 20% post-consumer recycled plastic. My question to Pat Craft when this happened with um, when they came in was performance wise, how is the product performing from a expansion, retraction, and curling,
Is it
these kinds
stable?
of issues? Is the installation sustainable? So
Yeah,
that's
that's
always,
because
yeah.
we've gone through that, right? When everyone switches over to something new, and then you don't know the effects until later on.
Yeah, and I think in our other episode we also talked about was the fact that how easy is it to get this material back to them to recycle? So that's always I think that's always a big question. Is it's great that it's recycled if you can return it, but Packcraft has a return reclamation program where the product can be fully recycled at the end of its lifespan. So it's going to be essentially it would be made into EcoWorks product line, which is their recycled carpet backing. So kind of cool that flooring has. I think that's one of the attempts that Shaw's leading in being sustainable. I don't know that these I don't know these subjects really hit home with a lot of us. I'm not. I think we should recycle when we can, but I also am not probably Mr. Environmentalist. Uh, you know,
Well, it's just becoming more common on job sites too, especially like even when I'm going through bid documents, it says that the GCs that bidding it has to have certain dumpsters on site for everyone to recycle, like you said, all the way down to even the concrete.
yeah. So materials that can be recycled get thrown into one dumpster, and there's a trash dumpster. Is that right?
Yeah, and I mean they'll have a concrete dumpster, a metal dumpster, a cardboard dumpster, and a trash dumpster.
Yep.
Is that more common today?
Yes.
Is it
It's
That
continuing to get
that's
more
very
common?
common.
We have had that happen on a handful of jobs, but usually it's a government work, like on McConnell Air Force Base or something.
right,
They'll do that, but
and they'll have in the bid documents too, right? That you have to recycle whatever you're ripping up. Like no if ands or buts about it. It's if it costs you money, they want that number in that contract.
yeah, and I think that the contractors that get behind it understand that ultimately the adoption of sustainable practices isn't just about reducing their environmental impact. It's about enhancing the company's reputation and showing that it's driving innovation and trying to find ways to make um, sustainability provide some cost savings as well. I know that's one of the the big decisions for construction firms is to invest in sustainable products and initiatives and people, uh, in a strategic move to provide long-term economic as well as environmental impact. Um, but it's got to hit mass production
Everybody
for
just
that to
wants to do their
happen.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody
I'm
just
I'm all
they just
for it.
want everybody to give them a little bit. Just everybody does a little bit, it all adds up. But like as far as it like being common, I wanted to add to that. It was really breaking up on my side, but it is very common to see them doing that. But like you said, it is more on the larger contractors or government projects or state funded projects where it's built into the contract that the school district is requiring that. And it's annoying when you
Well,
have
where do
to
you guys
do
stand
it.
on it? Where do you guys stand on it? What's your thoughts? Is it worth
Well,
it
the extra
it's
time and money that's going forward right now on, and has been maybe for the last 5 years more heavily?
I think anything that we can save from going into a landfill is a bonus, to be honest with you, especially if it is recyclable. Why not?
Yeah.
And all you're
The
doing
saving in the
is
landfill is
basically passing the buck, right? You're charging them in order to do it because there's always going to be some charges in there.
Well, sometimes I'll tell you that new LVT for me, it's always like, how is this going to perform? You know, how is the new product going to perform past and better or equal to the previous product lines? Um, it's got to make dollars and cents, I think. So I wonder how many of our audience, Mr. Floor God is in the house. Have you guys installed any sustainable products, particularly if anybody's messed around with Pat Craft's new rematerial LVT? It'd be interesting to know.
No, I was looking on the website though, and it's looking like they actually planned for things to happen because they have a back bevel on it, so that means that it's beveled, so that way when it does come together, I mean the top's going to be touching at a slight angle, and with that type of, I mean, you're talking about recycled material, you don't know exactly how that's going to do long term yet, right? Because I mean, if it's new, we don't know how long they've been testing it. They may have been testing it for a long time already. But if anything environmentally happens, they just have that cushion in there. So if it's going to expand and contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure most of the manufacturers that took a beating in the first attempt at some of that sustainability stuff, I think, maybe are taking a different approach, a more, uh, dare I say, sustained approach, like trying to get it right. I tell you what, it looks really like a really nice product. So that is a little bit in the environmental zone. Couple new projects that are probably worth bringing up that we found. Now, this is Purdue University, so Indiana. They're planning $239 million for construction and renovation. This came as a report by Construction Dive that Purdue has outlined several key construction projects, one of which is a interdisciplinary life science research building, which is on its own a $160 million project. The university got a little bit of state support, but they're also touting this 140,000 square foot facility will also be built in some sustainable manner and looks like a 2026 completion. One of the topics that we love to cover here is just, some of these future projects. I mean, that's nothing if you're not in Indiana um, necessarily, but that's a huge project. Single source at $239 million, and there's a lot of that, which leads us into our next topic, which is the manufacturing boom. So this has really been driven by, what would you say, Mr. Daniel?
Trying to bring jobs back over here, right?
Yep, there's been a big push to get jobs back in the US, plus the chip manufacturing, all the scares of being short of chip manufacturing. I actually was fishing last week with a guy who used to build these types of plants for out in San Diego for a big GC. And he talked about how complicated a chip manufacturing plant is. But Construction Dive talks about the U.S. has made significant strides in revitalizing the manufacturing sector. And it passed, we just passed a $52 billion Chips and Science Act. That was maybe a year or two ago. Yeah, it looks like August of 22. So some of these projects are coming out now, and according to the White House, this legislative push has driven over $898 billion in private investment across the country. So it's stuff like, biotech, semiconductor fabrication. You could imagine all these electrical vehicles need electric vehicle batteries and clean energy. So these are kind of the underpinnings of this huge push. That's almost $1 trillion. That's almost $1 trillion in manufacturing, or in money going into U.S. manufacturing. So if you're out there getting trained in these, being a highly trained installer, you can take advantage of a lot of these ESD floorings, as well as most of these facilities have massive offices attached to them or separate from them. So there's going to be a lot of work for the flooring world through this as well. And I think it just bodes well to look at these positive aspects of the economy. When we look at the economy, we're always told the bad on mainstream news, but the truth is almost $1 trillion has went into this, and the projects are starting to come out. We're talking about sensors and all this stuff that are, these plants are being made for. And speaking of
Right.
sensors, one of the best sensors you could have in your pocket as a flooring contractor is Floor Cloud. So Floor Cloud's a proud sponsor of the Huddle, and their technology puts the job site readings right at your fingertips. Let's watch a quick video about Floor Cloud and all the benefits of having that, whether you're an installer or a company. Run it, Ashlyn.
Real-time monitoring of your job site conditions via desktop or mobile device. No more manual checking for temperature, humidity, or even dew point. No need for base stations, Wi-Fi, or external power sources. Simply scan the QR code on the front of your sensors and you're up and running with the most accurate and innovative site monitoring system in the flooring industry. Dispatch your crews with confidence and reduce your climate-related installation issues. Floor Cloud. Now you know.
Now you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're going to need that kind of technology, that Floor Cloud brings to the table anytime you do projects like this, especially big ones. I know you guys have had good success with Floor Cloud. We're deploying on a couple of bigger projects.
Yep. We've got it on 3 projects right now. So even if it's like we've already done the moisture testing and monitored that, right, for a while, and then once everything is fine and we know, I have my reports and stuff written up and everyone is good, I go pull them out, take them to the next project. So we pulled all the actual moisture tests out, but we still leave the monitor there so I can monitor the ambient conditions, and it lets you know, like, on your phone, this is out of spec range. So that way we can go to the contractor and be like, hey, like, if you want me there tomorrow, you're gonna have to do something about this.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys have already used it more than we have, and we're excited to get our sensors and start deploying it. I know that some of the training entities like AFT and I believe CFI even are using it to kind of like monitor their training facilities and just show the cool technology to people. So yeah, get yourself a floor cloud if you're a flooring contractor. Get with Scott and Patrick over there at floorcloud.com and check it out.
It is a savior.
Floor cloud seems like the commercial contractor savior. I would say, yeah, it definitely is a time saver.
Well, they're not arguing
So
with you
those are the
anymore.
types
They're
of things
arguing with the numbers.
that's a big point too. All right. Continuing on here with construction manufacturing boom, one of the cool things I wanted to bring up is that, we brought up one of the largest projects was going to be in Oklahoma City, like the tallest building
Yeah.
in the. Well, I don't know how Oklahoma is doing it right, though. They got a $620 million Norsun project in Tulsa. So the Midwest area is getting some stuff. Aurora, Colorado's got a $600 million Philip Morris International facility. And down in Stanford, North Carolina, there's a $530 million Kiowa Kyron manufacturing plant. I mean, that just shows you like the that's it. Those are huge numbers of commitment, to technology. So if you're not embracing technology, this goes back to several other of our podcasts. If you're not embracing technology, this should encourage you to dip your toes in there, because all this is in support of sensors, as I said, chip manufacturing, biotechnology, electric vehicles and batteries, clean energy, which we touched on just a few minutes ago as well.
And healthcare will never stop either. So I seen on there,
Yeah.
it says that, there's a 4.1 billion in healthcare manufacturing in North Carolina. That's
How big is that? Jeez. $4.1 billion healthcare manufacturing center in Clayton, North Carolina.
And that's where, we talked about like broadening your horizon, right? And where you could, if a lot of these places that have polished concrete or epoxies or resinous flooring, and we ran into a situation here at one of the battery manufacturers where it was supposed to be rubber flooring, all welded, and they pulled it from under us at the last second and switched it to epoxy.
Yeah.
So
and there's ESD epoxies out there.
That's what it was too. Yeah. And it we ended up going back in there, and I guess they said that after they installed the epoxies, there was bubbles 6 foot tall in some areas.
In the epoxy?
In the epoxy.
Holy moly. How is that possible?
I don't know, but he that's what they said. They were like, this is what happened.
So they had to redo it?
They had to redo it.
Wow. Well, floor prep is an important part. Floor prep and site conditions are an important part of any flooring, but it does show the benefits. I'll tell you, when Amazon was building all of their plants, we had our epoxy crew do all of the epoxy paint stripes out
all the lines.
Yeah, just that was like $100,000 worth of work, and we did it on 3 different Amazon projects. So that's just opening your horizons and thinking outside the box a little bit. So the CHIP Act, which is the act that was really passed to address our concerns in America for semiconductor chips, but it does state here that it's been a significant catalyst to all of this. and has provided $52.7 billion for semiconductor research, development, manufacturing, and workforce development. Alongside that is a 25% investment tax credit for capital expenses in semiconductor manufacturing. So we're going to be building a lot of these semiconductor plants here to subsidize our purchase of semiconductors from Taiwan. And yeah, so I thought that was interesting that one thing spurred that much growth, and goes to show the economy is a little bit in question, but there's plenty of building and construction, and your jobs aren't getting taken over anytime soon by AI. They got plenty of other bigger fish to fry than us, so we got a job
I don't
for.
know, man. I seen the videos of robots doing like drywall and stuff already. So
Yeah, in very very controlled spaces. I think that the problem is the site. If you build offsite material or offsite buildings, which I think would be a cool episode, is to bring on a builder that's doing the modular building. They build this. We were planning in a planning meeting with Jay Dunn on a facility, pre-bid planning meeting. This has been quite a while back, but it was talking about building parts of this hospital. A lot of it was built off-site, and then it ships and they just kind of bolt it together. Even some of the flooring's installed off-site, and then you tie it in almost like a
wow,
mobile home or something. So, you know, we've also done a fair amount of work with a company called Redbox, and they do these blast resistant buildings. So, like fertilizer plants and foundries and stuff like that, they the office is built offsite out of container materials. It's not like they take used containers and make it. Redbox manufactures containers as well, but they'll take that and build it offsite. The problem is the technology for, as far as like AI doing your deal. You could have a robot, but a human still has to run that.
yeah,
Their AI, as I'm talking about, is like you're just replaced with that.
right.
Robots, they have the remote controlled blasting machines and stuff like
Well,
that. I mean, in
yep.
essence, you're not.
Grinders, demo
Yeah.
machines now, and Rollin says like all this is great, right? So how is this going to help the small mom and pop installers doing one room at a time? Some of them are starving right now, and I think that's because people don't look. You can't just look at one segment. It is way off just because if they're being kind of a couple we were talking about, what else can you put under in your portfolio so that way you can go out there and do something else. And it's probably in my opinion, he's talking more residential, right? Or are you talking about commercial doing one room jobs?
Well, even residential, these places are then to boil it down to the small mom and pop, or let's call it the retailer. When you build a new plant that employs 4,000 or 5,000 people in an area, there's going to be a residential need for new housing, remodels, replacements, all that stuff to support that. It is a cascading effect. So that's one way. I would also encourage the mom and pop to evolve a little bit and not, we have to grow into new things and look at other opportunities out
right.
there to expand your business.
Because
If you're
locally
doing,
right now, like what we're seeing is we're not seeing a slowdown in new construction. You'll probably end up seeing slowdowns in remodels, right? But in the new construction, there's still houses going up like they can't even keep up with it. Plus, we got apartment buildings going up like crazy. Like they just sold just around here 2 or 3 golf courses, and that's what their main focus is how many new homes or apartments can we put on these things?
Yeah, I think that's where it helps the mom and pop is, yeah, they're not going to go do the epoxy in a 200,000 square foot semiconductor plant, but they're going to do the housing for the people who the workforce there, and those are like
Just what
when
John says right here.
houses need to yeah. So I remember when NetApp uh, moved into our area, their average job for their they were one of the pioneers in cloud computing technology alongside of um, alongside Amazon, I think, or was helping. I could have that wrong, but basically their average salary, I can't remember how many thousands of jobs, but their average salary job that they brought when they moved in was 72.5. That's means there's a lot of high level people making good money. So you're going to have luxury housing. You're going to have work uh, the workforce that's putting this stuff together at higher wages, demanding nicer homes or at least nicer finishes. Maybe they buy a home, remodel that thing. I think it spurs a lot of stuff, and you can't have billions of dollars run into a single facility and to all the money that it takes to employ all the people to fill that facility and it not have a cascading effect to the local economy. So I think it's a good thing. I was going to a share just a map of the. Let me do this. I'm going to share a map showing the.
So one says on here, built buildings over there and hired very little people. Like they brought in their own guys, but it's still bringing people to the area. So you're still looking at remodeling and having to change out some flooring. As far as the jobs, I've been in some of those conversations, like locally, when they're talking about, building this, and that's like our city. One of the first questions they ask is, how many jobs is this going to bring? How much money is this going to put into the economy over here?
Yeah, sometimes it's about local jobs being created. Sometimes it's about bringing a higher population to the area as well. When they do this, a lot of times a lot of the workers go to the plant from other areas, which is welcomed as well. I mean, the mom and pop shop, I don't know about installer, but the mom and pop, you know, um, restaurant, and if people are moving into the area, they may not hire in the area all the time. I think it looks like to me that Rollins talking about that they didn't hire very many people locally.
Locally, yeah.
But that doesn't mean they didn't bring population with them that then spurred more demand for flooring products and building materials in general. But check this map out. These are semiconductor plants. I mean, Texas, Kansas has got Integra. This is a big project that we're tracking heavy on is Integra Technologies right here in my hometown. Another semiconductor plant in Burlington, Kansas, and then up in Kansas City area, they've got an EV plant. But look at this map. You can see up by you.
That whole concentration right there.
Yeah, up by you guys. Lots of EV plants up in there. Michigan EV plant. Like, geez, Ford, what does that say? Altium cells?
I don't even know.
Like a dipshit. I can't even read that, but there you go. It's that. But proof positive, there's a ton of semiconductor, EV, and general manufacturing. Thought that map was pretty cool, showing you that all across the United States, they're building these things, and it's that new technology. We want to be on the forefront. We just can't have closed minds as installers. I think at the end of the day, there's going to be new products we need to have our eyes on. I know I want to do a better job of like keeping my eyes looking forward for new product lines, new installation methods, poured flooring, ESD floorings, uh, you know, epoxy coatings. I think we're talking about possibly starting an epoxy in-house epoxy crew and and focusing on some of that poured floors. Um, and then of course polished concrete. That's always a big thing in these big
All these
manufacturing plants as well.
manufacturers are going from floor covering to just don't have to, and then they start one day they'll start hating it again, and we'll go in there and throw something
It's
on
made
top of
one
it.
cycle. It's made one cycle. I mean, all of the Kroger stores were VCT or something like that, and then they went to polished concrete, stained
Now
concrete, and then they went back to LVT, or
LVT,
they went to LVT because every time somebody drops something on a stained concrete floor that has a high vinegar content, which is a lot of food, it just you can't get rid of it. It's this big splash mark, and it's not ever going to be gone. And that vinegar eats the stain. So I heard a story, and we experienced one Walmart where they did polished concrete because they kept having moisture problems and didn't want to mitigate. And uh, they had such a moisture problem that the feet of their metal, some of the feet on their
they
metal
started rusting.
fixtures started rusting. And they were like, "Oh crap, we got to do something." And that store is back to LVT now, so it makes its rounds. Check this video out. I'm going to show you a time lapse video. I don't know. Do we have time? We're running short. I may leave that, but I'll throw it up in the see if I can share this. It's kind of cool, these time lapse videos. Let's see if I can put this in here.
I'm trying to put it in the chat for
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, if you want to check out that that time lapse of this bridge that they built in Buckinghamshire, 450-meter long viaduct or viaduct was assembled in 3 stages. I watched the video; it's pretty freaking cool. And then to the opinion poll coming out of kind of construction dive, they put these opinion polls up in different times, and this one is successful mentorship is a two-way street. I thought it'd be interesting to kind of talk about this. They call it bi-directional mentorship, and it's not just about not just valuable but essential for the future of construction industry. So traditionally, mentorship has been viewed as a one-way street, meaning I mentor somebody where an executive or upper level manager or something, imparts knowledge in a junior employee or into um, a new person or even a friend. But approaching it where both people learn, because there's a lot I can learn from other people. And I try to approach mentorship this way myself. But it's particular. They say that having it go both ways in the construction industry, where we can learn from the younger younger colleagues as well to gain a fresh perspective, is particularly impactful, and it shows the senior professionals where they can gain that fresh perspective. The construction industry is facing rapid technology advancements. We just talked about that. And with all of that, the younger crowd that is being trained in these building technologies, how to build these big plants and stuff, and prefabrication, virtual and augmented reality, and AI is taking a big step in construction from the design and architecture standpoint. So these younger professionals are more familiar with all those technologies, and they're able to offer valuable insights to your more seasoned project managers or more seasoned professionals in construction.
I think
It,
like just
Go
just
ahead.
looking at that, like technology is huge in that aspect, right? To where it's you can look at them for guidance like professionally, and then they have to look back at you and be like, what else can I be doing, myself to make everything better and more streamlined. And that's where a lot of the technology comes in, where we can show the older generation, like, look, you can use Go Carrera. And this is a conversation that my brother just had yesterday. And they call us and they're like, hey, we're a little slow right now, do you guys have anything? And we're like, yeah, this is what we use. And they're like, man, is that really necessary? And we're like, yeah, it is. It makes everything more streamlined. Like, it's a no-brainer. The hardest part for most of technology is getting it set up initially. After that, it's just keep on using it.
Yeah, there's always an adoption curve to all of it, and the mentorship. I think, speaking of that, and the adoption of technology and how fast this stuff moves, like John's talking about with one of his FCEF classes. The truth is, we're launching new technology as an industry. Go Carrera's launching new technology. Um, our adoption curve in our industry is going to equate to our success. I believe that a lot of this stuff has to do with listening to the younger guys coming out. What are they striving for? And many of them want to work the way they grew up. Most of the younger crowd has grown up with an iPhone or an iPad or my 4-year-old grandson knows how to go to YouTube, like literally find his video and go to YouTube and play it and then close that out and go to the next YouTube video.
And there was a teacher, right? And I don't remember where I seen this, but she kind of, instead of doing a lesson plan and you're like, kids, put everything away, only pay attention to me, she actually had her lesson plan right next to just a video of whatever the kids watch on like YouTube and stuff these days. And she said that their attention span just focused right there, even though they might not have been looking at the lesson plan the whole time. They did way better at the next test than they would have if they. So that's
Yeah, I think it's easy for us to say that's not the right way to do things, or that's not the right way to learn. I think we need to be, or I strive to be a little bit more open minded these days than being closed minded on things, or say, well, that's not the right way to learn. That's not, kids shouldn't be on their devices all day. I agree to a point, like, let's get outside and play. But at the same time, what industry are they going to be going into? It's going to be in those industries that are, if they're going to be successful, they're going to have to understand technology and AI and understand all this. In 15, 20 years, it's going to be drastically a different business landscape. So, all of the companies and people who are open-minded and looking out in the future and really considering what technologies can help connect us quicker, provide efficiencies, and improve quality of experience for customers, wherever that may be. The people and companies who are adopting that, I think, are the ones who are going to not get left behind. There's always, there's always casualties when change happens, and I don't know the answer to how to keep that from happening, keep it from having casualties. But it is the unfortunate truth, at least to this point, is when new things come about, there's people that don't adopt it and get left behind. And I'm not sure that you can save all those, but my ploy here on the huddle, and our approach has always been to at least consider the new technology, at least think about it, give it a run. get used to doing business in a more modern way, whether that's reading your floor sensors from your phone at dinner when your crew's on site, getting ready to go on site. Like that's a huge time saver, and it's a big, um, you know, it's a much better experience for the client. Other industries are already doing what you're talking about. Flooring is just or is starting, just needs a couple more kicks in the ass. I agree, John. We're trying to put the boots on.
And
We've
it's
been
just hard in our industry because it's unregulated compared to some of these other ones.
and unmotivated in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I talked to a good colleague that everybody would know if I said his name, but I was just talking to him on the phone the other day, and he said his efforts in this realm, in training, technology, this kind of stuff. He goes, I know you know Paul with Go Carrera, but it's like pushing a boulder uphill, and it's a big ass boulder. And he's been in the industry forever, and he I don't think he can put his thumb on to why we're so resistant. Why are we so resistant to new ideas? And there's other industries that pick this stuff up like this, and they just, you want to talk about being left behind. We're the industry that gets left behind because we're so slow, or I don't know. I don't know. But it ain't going to keep me from still pushing the limits. I know it doesn't keep you guys from pushing the limits, and I think we're just going to keep doing what we're doing because we believe in the cause. Keep trying to get better ourselves, and hopefully we bring a lot of people along the journey. And my hope is that some other torches get lit and other people can start doing some cool stuff too. I don't want to rule the world. I just want to get our industry moving forward. That's been the maybe the biggest purpose of Go Carrera. Is the fact is you got to be able to deal with people in a digital world and know who you're dealing with, and that's the basis of what Go Carrera was or is. Go Carrera Core is. And we're just launching Jumpstart next week. The new site will be live. All the new students out of the FCEF and CFI and everybody that's going to be new out of the programs from Flooring Basics, they're all going to be new candidates on there and updated. So it's going to be cool. If you are looking to hire newly trained individuals, if you're an installer, go to gocareer.com/jumpstart and check it out. The new site will be live next Thursday, I believe, and it'll have all the new candidates on there. So a subscription to Jumpstart is $99 per year. So if you make one hire, that's less than the sugar it costs in your coffee every day. Like it's $99 a year. You may not have a candidate in your area, but some of the candidates may be willing to relocate. So $99 a year is about as cheap as you can get to peruse new candidates. And we're hoping that everybody will join that wave of hiring digitally. You'll get to see a little bit about them, schedule an interview, do all this good jazz, and avoid the Craigslist dumpster fire of trying to figure out. Well, Roland, it costs less than your black coffee. I don't know a good comeback to that. It costs less than one of the beans it takes to make that black coffee. And you support the industry, so we'll put your name up or your company logo up on the website under the supporters. And there's manufacturers that are getting involved as well. As a quick overarching thing to close this out, Jumpstart's filling the gap of placement for the industry. So as the FCEF, CFI, AFT, all these entities train new people, we want them to go on to Jumpstart. And then we'll give all of our subcontractor network, as well as all of the the companies that are our member companies access to Jumpstart for that $99 a year. So everybody's kind of jumping on board with that, and you can hire as many people as you want. You can interview and hire as many people as you want for that $99.
Hire
So,
them all.
yeah, take that, monster. So what's up, Jose?
He
Back
can't hear you.
in the saddle, eh?
You're on my headphones. He can't even hear you. He's back though.
Oh, true that. All right. Well, we've come to the last part of this podcast. We're running out of time, and which is kind of amazing. We've only talked about 3 different things, but what I would say out of all this is there is going to be immense opportunity for people in manufacturing, in the flooring side, for the flooring that support the manufacturing facilities, office spaces, and embrace technology, guys. I think that one of the things about the blue collar crews today is it's all talking about technology in some manner. So embrace it. Find the companies that are being innovative, go alongside them, help them out, work with your FCEFs of the world, get involved with Go Carrera, talk with the preferred flooring, look at what they're doing. Floor Cloud, like just get involved and move
get involved, period. It doesn't matter where it is, just get involved, man. It's the industry's not going to move forward without everyone trying to push it. And if you're not trying to push it, you're one of those guys that is scared of the change. Time to look at your mindset, because if you always did what you if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always got, right? So that I know everyone is scared of change, and it's just human nature, but I mean it's the name of the game. We got to move forward. We got to get on it with technology and making our jobs a lot easier.
Yeah, that's where courage comes in, and taking a leap of faith. And there's a lot of companies and people who have done that, and get alongside them. I mean, I've named some of them on this podcast multiple times. You guys know I'm the founder and CEO of Go Carrera, Preferred Flooring, and what they've done, and that they're big supporters of us. And they are the huddle, and we do this to bring this information to the forefront. So like Daniel just said, get involved in some manner, get on the huddle, have some communication, and come on as a guest. We always appreciate our commenters every single week. You guys rock. If you guys catch us on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, help us get the message out there, and we'll keep working on improving ourselves, improving our content, improving our platform. And we are sincere when we say we want to change the game. The intro that I fumble off often is still very true. We want to change the game, and we want to strategize on being the best that we can be, and bringing you the tools and techniques that we run across out in the industry that can help us all succeed. So with that, I will sign off and tell everybody to have a good week, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah, thanks guys. We'll see you guys.